All right, everybody. So for today's breakdown video, we're going to take a look at this touchdown pass by Baker Mayfield for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their win over the Green Bay Packers during their Week 15 matchup of the 2023 season. You can see that it's a touchdown pass to Mike Evans from 19 yards out. It's down the seam. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning and break it down, go over some points that I would like to do with regards to this play. All right, so as you saw, Auden, he's going to go ahead and release as though he's going to the outside, but it's a whip route. You also saw Evans running his route. I hope you noticed him kind of sell that he was going outside to influence the defender and then break back to the inside and stay up the seam. It's important to note that he's staying up the seam. We then have Palmer, who is releasing inside, and then you saw him do this deep over route with the dig by Godwin and the check down by Edmonds. Okay. What's the coverage by the Packers? The Packers, they're in a cover 3. And this is what's going to play into the read for Baker Mayfield. Let me draw up the cover 3. What you have to understand against cover 3 is you got to find where the weak points are. So one of the weak points for cover 3 is the seam, right in here. All right? The seam is very important. That's the weak point of this defense. It's kind of splitting between the two corners and the middle of the field safety. It's why I said it's important to note that Mike Evans stayed vertical on his route and didn't try to bend to the inside of into the middle of the field. He stayed vertical straight down the seam. So, what Baker Mayfield is looking at, and probably what he's been coached, is we're looking at Ford, who's the single high safety right here. What is he doing on this play? Is he staying square, dropping back, eyes on a swivel, looking for any threat down the seam? Or is he going with the action of the route by Palmer? Well, we know the answer to that. Let's go ahead and run the play again so you guys can see exactly what happens. He's going to open his hips slightly to the left, and you can see he starts the backpedal, but then his hips are starting to turn because he's watching Palmer come up the middle of the field. Note as well that Stokes is open to where Evans is because he's trying to watch him, and the route by Evans kind of throws him off, gets Stokes on his back heels, and then when Evans is going vertical, there's no chance. You can already see that Baker's throwing the ball. But notice that Ford's feet have kind of given him away. Notice he's going to the middle of the field, taking himself away. And so that's telling Baker to throw that seam. So you're going to see it here from the end zone view. We're going to get the snap. Watching the safety. Safety goes inside. That widens. And because you have Evans going down the middle, down the seam, there's no chance for the defender here. And that's why he's throwing this ball right here. Okay? That's very important to note where the weaknesses are of that coverage, and it's down the seam. So Palmer is kind of like a distraction. I know that he comes open, and it could be a touchdown here for Palmer as well, but that's because Valentine gets stuck with Godwin's dig. If Valentine had been playing deep third, that route would not have been there. It would have been the seam route to Mike Evans, and that's why. And that brings up an important topic. Sometimes things happen on a play where a receiver might be open and fans are like, why aren't you throwing that ball to him? Well, that's not part of that read. And so the quarterback is going through his reads as quick as he can. And like I said, you can see here from the end zone view, Baker's already made up his mind because that's what he's been taught. Safety's moving over with this, opening up for the seam. Okay, we're going to throw the seam because it's single high. We've got what we want. We're going to take advantage of it. The question I would have asked on this particular play as well is, was it a mandatory seam by Mike Evans? So would Mike Evans have had to run the seam no matter what? Or let's say that the Packers have been in a too high safety look. Would it instead been that Mike Evans sells the seam, but then attacks the middle of the field on a post or bender route because one of the weaknesses of the too high safety look is the middle of the field right there? Or would it have been Palmer who's coming up vertically and then he just stays vertical instead of running the deep crossing route? Or is the crossing route, this deep crossing route, a way to influence the safety that he would be running at to help open up that middle more for Mike Evans? That's a question I would ask Coach Canales, who's now the coach at the Panthers, but he was the OC this past season. So just a really great job, great placement by Baker. But hopefully that gives you guys an idea a little bit more with regards to the passing game of what is going into it, why the routes being run are important, how they're being run, because it helps also with widening, getting open, get correct spacing on those routes to allow Baker to throw this touchdown pass. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this content. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. If you're enjoying this all types of content with regards to breaking down football plays, make sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time. I want to give a shout out to all of our booster members that are supporting the channel. If you wish to have your name in a video just like this, please make sure to join at the link down below at the booster member or above. On the next screen, there will be another recommended video. It will be a breakdown video, most likely. Check it out. See what you think of it. Some of them might be commentary, but most of my videos are breakdowns. We'll see you later, though, and have a good one.